Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Season 10, Week 6. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster, Sleepy, with 2 3's. How are you today, Sleepy?
I'm doing well, Nightfire. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here on, I believe, our second venues cast for Onward, VR Master League. So excited to be here on the desk with you today. We've got a great matchup going between 2 EU teams. So excited to be able to bring a little bit of EU action to the folks at home as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, especially with Phantoms and Bravo 6. Phantoms definitely a team that, you know, a huge proponent of the VRML. You know, I see them they're very active on Twitter. They play in Echo Arena. They're a very competitive organization, and they're fun to tune into. And so I'm excited that we get to host them on venues today. And if you are tuning in on any of the other places that we're live, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, you can also check this out on Oculus venues right now. So you can fire up your Quest 2, download Oculus venues, and go and enjoy this in a shared space, essentially a space where you can all watch the game together and interact in VR together. It's really cool. And to anyone that's in venues right now watching, if you are, shout out to you. Appreciate you tuning in right now. But I mean, the action that we're going to get today is definitely going to be top tier. You know, it's going to be really nice. I'm really looking forward to the games today. You know.
Oh, absolutely, no question about that. I mean, as you mentioned, Phantoms have been becoming sort of an esports organization here in the VR world. I mean, they just took the EU championships, I believe, in Echo Arena.
Yeah.
They're now here doing really well competitively this season, as also in Onward. They're really just branching out everywhere. I don't know if they've just decided to just branch out and knock it out during this quarantine while everyone's been at home and everyone's had a little bit extra time to get in their headsets and play around. But yeah, man, Phantoms have really been doing their thing. Now, Bravo 6 is a newer team, so we'll have to see exactly what they have brought to the table here today. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on and excited to bring that action again to the folks out at home and, of course, in their headsets in Oculus venues.
You know, what we've been getting a lot this week in particular is a lot of these new teams that have come in from the Quest 2 or the Quest, and they're still going through their placement matches. I don't know if that's the case with Bravo 6. I don't know where they're at on the well, you can look into the stats of it all. But
yeah, I'm going to take a look at that.
What we've seen a lot is these teams having their third match, their TBD sort of MMR match, their match that determines where they get placed in the overall ranks, sort of be a challenge. You know, and a lot of these newer teams are getting a bit of a wake-up call, if you will, to what a silver, what a gold, what a higher tiered team looks like in the VRML. And honestly, it's been fun to watch. It's really exciting as a longtime caster of the league to also know that these teams are all going to grow from those losses. You know, they're gonna learn from this and get fueled with a drive to get better because maybe they don't realize that that's the situation. But yeah, it's certainly a very fun time to be tuning in to the Onward games, as we do have a lot of new faces and some returning ones as well.
Absolutely, and just to double back on that, Bravo 6 is in fact a new team.
Okay.
They've only been playing since this season. It looks like they're a mix of various different nationalities, a few Brits there, an American, French player, as well as a Norwegian player, but they only have 5 currently showing on the roster, so they need every one of those members to show up today. They are still, in fact, in their placement matches. Confirmed that with the VR Master League website, and their first game was against Virtual Secret, where they did quite well, in fact. They went 8-12 against them for a loss, of course, but they did manage to keep that very, very close. I mean, score lines of 3-4, 3-4, and 2-4 across the board. So for a new team to be able to go up against Virtual Secret, who has been around for a season or two, that's pretty good for a starting game. So I'm excited to see how they bring their game against Phantoms, who, again, have been really locking things down this season.
Well, again, a lot of these new teams are pretty good. I mean, they've had time to practice. We've been.
Oh, sure.
The game's been out on Quest for a couple of months now at this point. And so at the very least, if you're a Quest player, you've had some good experience, training and practicing with this game. And if you're a Quest 2 player, obviously not a lot of time to get the hang of it. But I'm looking forward to those teams also getting involved in the league because, man, it is a great time to get involved if you're new to the VRML, if you're new to Onward. There's tons of new teams, tons of players that you can have a fun time going up against. So very much looking forward to what we get today. We do have the lobby populating, so let's dive into our pick bands, Sleepy. What do we have coming out today?
Absolutely. Looks like for today's matchup, we have pick bans coming from Phantoms of Subway. So our home team for the day will be banning Subway. Then on the away side from Bravo 6, they will be banning Quarantine. So unfortunately for us, Nightfires, that's one of our favorite maps as players and as casters. But so no Quarantine today. Just as a heads up for those out there who pay attention to the ins and outs of the league, there has been no smokes and no C4 agreed upon to maintain following of the standard league rule right now until those items have been fixed. So this matchup will not feature any smokes or C4s, but as we've seen, that doesn't necessarily mean. In fact, I've seen more exciting gameplay, I feel like, without the use of smokes in some cases than I have when we had it. I'm not saying that it doesn't belong back in the game, so I don't want people to come after me with pitchforks. I'm just saying it has really forced teams to kind of think outside the box again and figure out new ways. And with all the new maps, the new map layouts like Quarantine, for example, it really makes you have to think. And so there's a lot of new angles, a lot of new hide spots, a lot of new routes you can take, a lot of new sneak routes you can take. So it would be exciting if we could see that, but you know, we're definitely not going to be short on action, especially as we roll in to our first map for the afternoon, which will be Suburbia. So some nice CQC. We're going to get some good action off the bat.
Yeah, again, hopefully Bravo 6 has that full roster. I'm assuming they do. They seem to be well prepared for the action that's going to be brought to us today. And we are just patiently waiting for that fifth before we could dive right into the action. But, yeah, I mean, not much else to say about these two teams duking it out. I'm very much, again, looking forward to the matchup we have today. It's going to be an interesting test for Bravo 6 on all fronts. You know, a match being cast, going up against Phantoms, certainly a bit of a tall order. And so it's going to be exciting to see what they bring to the table. I think we're going to cut to a brief intermission as we await for the full lobby to populate, and then we'll be diving right into map number 1 when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We are live and here with Phantoms versus Bravo 6, map number 1 on Suburbia. If you are just tuning in, my name's Nightfire, and I'm here with my co-caster Sleepy with 2 3s, and we're excited to deliver you some excellent Onward action.
Absolutely, and round 1 is kicking off. Looks like Bravo 6 going to be on the offensive here. Our first objective will be the northwest objective at the white car. Bravo 6 going to be wasting no time getting out of spawn, but they are leaving a couple back just in case to cover the cover an aggressive flank possibility out of the defense.
Yeah, I've seen teams do this now where they take up 2 Flory on offense here, or two story on offense here. And you have some interesting angles down into playground because a lot of the Volk defensive maneuvers have been pretty aggressive as of late. Teams have been really aggressively pushing into playground on defense to get a little bit more forward just because they can, now that it's hard, you can't see through those shrubs. And so some different strategies have sort of come up on both ends, and I think that's what we're seeing here from Bravo 6. So good on them to sort of, I guess, do a little bit of their homework. And here we have Lego for days. He's got a nice angle down onto Taquito here, taking it up on the ramp.
Yeah, absolutely. And then meanwhile, on the other side, B6 Turtle, or just Turtle, Bravo 6 is, of course, the first part of his name. He's snuck up here on lane 1, but you can see Oscar maintaining a dedicated angle as he watches for the approach here from Bravo 6. And if he just waits just a moment, nothing else happens to come by and distract him, he should have this pick.
Oh, actually, it's going to be El Argentino tucked in behind the white car who snags that one.
Nice bit of coordination there. I don't think any actual words exchanged there from them because obviously Oscar would have given away his position, but a good pick there and nice coverage. Oscar doesn't even have to expose himself, so well played there by Phantoms. Bravo 6 go down 1. We still have 3 minutes left in the round, though, so a lot of time left and a grenade coming out on lane 4 towards Sat Bradigan. But it's not going to connect.
Yeah, and it's just a patient push here from Bravo 6, especially in the early rounds. This squad seems to be sort of assessing what Phantoms are going to do. They're not necessarily playing aggressive offense because they don't know is Phantoms going to counter with aggressive defense. They don't know what Phantoms is going to bring to the table per se in these early rounds, and so it's sort of just sort of teams feeling out each other as we get into this first map. And so far, it's been pretty standard moves here from this Bravo 6 team, despite them being a new squad and despite them having to dip into the reservist pool today.
Ooh, Oscar Alvarez runs up on the lane 1 side, getting a bit aggressive, trying to catch folks in the center as they cross through, but he gets taken down by Elias from Bravo 6, and that's 1 member of Phantoms down to match the one from Bravo 6 taken a moment ago, and the lane 4 side seems to be where those Bravo 6 members are going to push.
That's exactly what Bravo 6 was being patient for. They were waiting for a little bit of over-aggression out of Phantom's defense. That whole time, all of their setups, all of their angles, were just waiting for that moment. They finally get a pick, and now they have to move forward. Sat Bradigan's going to peek up just at the right moment with the silenced G36 and find himself a kill. And so I got to wonder if Bravo 6 are even aware that Sat's over here and are aware of where those shots came from.
Well, luckily, Kiri here from Bravo 6 can see where his teammate just went down. So there is some assumption, and there's a frag out. It looks like it's got the distance, but it's got too much distance, in fact. He overshoots and throws it back by the red car, but overall a good attempt at a frag from his positioning.
And if what the information he has, it could be red car, right? Sat could be a red car, so it could have been in the intended position for that nade. And now Sat does peek up just a bit. Kiri not having that laser drawn over here. Sat's gonna find the angle. He's got the gun turned sideways to minimize his how much he's peeking up over the top of this little tiny cement block here. And he's found 2 over on this side. Lego looks like he's going to try his lucks next. And Lego actually does tag Sat in the shoulder.
Meanwhile, Elias and Prey here in the center 2 lanes have been exchanging a flashbang party, but Elias does back off and manage to regroup with Lego. It appears they've now realized it's just them left. They've got 47 seconds left on the clock, so any moment now on their wristwatch, they're going to be hearing a little beep indicating they've got 30 seconds left to make some moves, but they've got a long way to go. They are on the opposite side of the street from where they need to be to get the kill, and there goes Taquito Loco grabbing Elias, and Lego going to grab Sat Bradigan finally off that corner in lane 4.
Got a bit of a task ahead of him. He has to take out 3, and Taquito Loco says aye and gets the kill. Phantoms go up 1.
Aye.
Hey, it's at the end of his name, okay.
Hey, no, it is. It is. And he wants you to give it that sort of energy when you say it. So bravo to you for doing it. And bravo to Phantoms for that first round there as they pick apart Bravo 6 1 by 1. What a good effort overall, I think, Nightfire from them. Also, I mean, they took their time. They knew what they were doing. They did play that a bit reserved, right? But in the end, they managed to get some pick trades in there. Lego grabbing 1. And then, of course, the initial pick on to... Shoot, who was that? Turtle?
Is that Brannigan?
No, it was Turtle that first got picked.
Oh, sure.
In that trade up near Oscar Alvarez on lane 1. But anyways, a great first round, so a good... But I agree, they are kind of testing each other.
I mean, out the gate, Bravo 6 is looking good here. You know, they had some really nice nade positions. You know, they're seemingly savvy of the defensive setups here, and so I'm intrigued. You know, I want to see what this squad's going to bring to the table throughout this series, and you know, to be honest here, I think the odds favor Phantoms. Obviously, you know, you favor the team that has a little bit more experience in the league because they've had that sort of welcome to the league moment. You know, where they have a tough series and they learn, oh, there's different you know, strategies that you can deploy that we're not ready for. I wonder if Bravo 6 is going to have that moment or if they're just going to be ready for Phantoms, and I guess we get to see as we go into round number 2 of map number 1.
Yeah, now it's time to see what the Phantoms have up their sleeve for an offense. Are they going to play this aggressive? Are they going to play it reserved? We'll have to find out here as they finally break the spawn box. 5 minutes of playtime to get to that uplink and send the objective code to get those 2 points or to eliminate their Volk opponents in Bravo 6. So Paquito, Loco, and El Argentino push to lane 4 under a little bit of fire there from Kiri, but he does manage to get into position over by the bus.
So solid setup here. My man's Kiri almost goes down with this nade toss out, and it's actually a pretty good air burst. Almost gets down Taquito there, Argentino. Yeah, just a touch lower. It might have had the airburst onto the head. And this is so risky for Kiri to be swinging onto this corner with all these angles, with all these lasers drawn in on him.
Yeah, obviously he's probably not sure exactly how many folks are looking at him because he doesn't get those lasers like we do. But yeah, Taquito Loco really playing this smart. He's got the prone approach out from under the bus. He's got Argentino watching his side. Looking for Kiri to poke out a little too far from that corner, and he does take some shots that direction, but no connection. Taquito Loco going to continue his prone push up towards the white car here in lane 4.
Kiri, I mean, suppressive fire is king in this meta. It is what teams haven't necessarily honed in on yet in our first couple of weeks of not having smokes. But it is king. If you don't have smokes, the alternative is to put down a heavy suppressive fire with an LMG and keep someone from being able to peek here. And Kiri, oh, just at the right time, peeks and finds the leg. That Taquito there getting the kill. And we're going to have to draw our attention over to the opposite side of the map where we have Lego for Days, who has pushed up into a interesting cutout. I haven't really paid attention that this has been a more heavily developed cutout in 1.8, but he is definitely utilizing it. Sap Brannigan swings wide, and Lego still doesn't peek.
Yeah, he's really determined to stay there, but Sap Brannigan's going to run by without a second look, and Lego for Days going to grab that pick along with a little bit of shots coming in from Only Ike. A nice play there from them, and good patience there from Lego, not exposing himself, not running the risk of that player you know, having the chance to shoot him as well. He let the player run to him, and he managed to get the kill.
Back on board lane 4, Argentino and Taquito Loco have managed to cross the street without any smokes, and they are moving into a flanking position. They're going to completely surround this Bravo 6 defense, which is very heavily occupied by the likes of Prey and Oscar, who are keeping them very focused into the center here. The swing from a back-to-back side, though, here it is, Argentino, and meanwhile, kills going out in the center.
Yeah, Lego for Days going to grab Oscar there on the lane 1 side. Turtle having picked up one as well and pretty much shut it down, but Lego going to take shots and take down Turtle. That's not going to be good for the defensive swing, and it's now a 1.5v1, but it does look like Phantoms El Argentino is going back for the res on Taquito Loco. So Taquito Loco and Argentino should have the advantage here as we don't see much movement. Up there's Lego now rotating back towards the defense, but if one of the Phantoms catch him crossing out to that street, which it looks like Argentino should be able to do, they will be able to take this round, but only 1:44 left on the clock, and Taquito Loco's on a fast pitch towards the OBJ.
Got to talk about how dangerous Lego's position is. He is sitting behind this wall, but it's a wood wall. Bullets can penetrate through this wood, so unless he tucks in behind these sandbags, he can get killed by the likes of Taquito just putting out some suppressive fire. I think the smart move here, obviously, is for, or not obviously, but the smart move for Taquito here, obviously for us, is to go prone through this crack here and just get up there and cap, because Lego's not going to be able to see over the hedges.
Oh, if he'd just go prone, he'd guarantee his passage through this gate. But right now, this crouch shot is going to have Lego able to see him, and Lego does pick up the kill. Now we're into a 1v1, 1 minute left on the clock, and El Argentino is in a mad rush through the mid-map in lanes 3 and 2, working his way towards Lego to see if he can't secure this round for Phantoms. 46 seconds now on the clock. Argentino slowed his roll. He's a little nervous. He doesn't want to roll in there too loud. He doesn't want to give his position away, so he stopped close, and he's watching. He's listening. He's trying to see if he can determine where that shot came from, because he's not 100% sure where Lego is.
Lego, just drops off the angle. Argentina's going to hold it. It's going to be an interesting peek, and Argentino's challenging. 20 seconds left. The suppressive fire comes out. He doesn't see him. And Lego with the absolute massive clutch hold keeps Bravo 6 in this one and takes us tied 1-1.
Very nice. Yeah, when I saw Taquito Loco stacked up there on the back of that house near the objective, and I heard him, I saw him with tab out. He was reading the code to himself. He started communicating with his team on the radio with whispers. I was like, they're going for this cap, and I thought they had it, honestly. Unfortunately for Phantoms, he chose the wrong way to come out of that opening, right? He should have came out prone like you were talking about, because just that little bit that Lego was able to see of him was enough to stop the cap and completely turn the tide of that round, right? But great on Lego there for bringing it back. Bravo 6 now 1 on the board to match Phantoms, and we got ourselves a good game, Nightfire.
Oh yeah, we do. It's still surprising to me, and honestly, I've been consistently surprised by these new teams. Just yesterday, I'm blanking on the name of the squad. Sleepy, dig into the weeds if you can. I'm blanking on the name, but it was another new team in their placement matches going up against a veteran team, a Legionnaires, and they had a couple of good maps. They looked very solid. They had good communication. They were very practiced. They had solid defensive strategies for the OBJs. It was really interesting to watch. These new teams have come in and really put in a lot of work. They've been doing a lot of scrims, and I mean, you can ask some of the new casters that we've recruited into the casting team. They've been doing a lot of spectating of those newer teams and have really enjoyed watching them develop. And so it's exciting to see here Bravo 6 at least tie it up 1-1. Ooh, a bit of a drop, so it might be a false start. I'm gonna give it a second to see if we reset back into the game, but.
Uh-oh. I'm not sure Bravo 6 is... I don't think they've realized they've lost a player here.
Interesting. Well, an unfortunate drop at the start of round number 3 in this first map, and hey, a rookie mistake, really. It's something you have to do at the start of a round. You have to check to make sure everyone's loaded in, nobody's dropped, and Bravo 6 have loaded into a round 4v5 because one of their teammates did not load in.
Yeah, that's correct, and again, that is it is an option built into the game. You can reset within that first 15 seconds, I believe, of a round. Your whole team, it resets everything exactly where it is. The objective stays the same. You stay on the same side of the scoreboard you were, and nobody gains a point. So make sure you're always checking for that if you are one of those newer teams out there that are playing. But Lego going to go ahead and immediately even out the score with that nice headshot through the window onto one of the members of Phantoms there, El Argentino being the one to go down. And you know what? I'm okay with it, I guess. Bravo 6 just going to go ahead and push on, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, clearly the lost member not phasing them And hey, I guess you can't get phased about something you don't know about. And yeah, solid opening up there for B6. They now have the 4v4 back into their favor. Turtles managed to work his way up to APC, and an interesting defense considering where our objective is. Objective is located in this center house, and there's only two defenders in here, one on the top floor and one on the bottom. As I say that, Taquitos, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching his position too. If he would have stayed behind APC, at least until he could have figured out a little bit more intel for his team in the center house, he would have been safer. But of course, Taquito Loco popping out there and ending that a bit early. So Turtle is now gone. Lego now the closest member to both the objective and the enemy at this point.
Seth Brannigan finding a good shot there on the only IQ was swinging on Burning Building on the east. Definitely a risky swing here to do without any utility, and Sat camped in the front yard, managed to find those kills. Still though, you know, there's holes in the defense here. Lego for days could really just sprint in from the back. If he kills Prey, then all he has to do is kill Oscar. If he gets 2 kills here, he's on objective, and he can punch in the code and snag his team 2 points.
Yeah, it'd be a bit easier for him, though, if he does manage to... Prey pops out there. I could have sworn Lego was going to start lighting that up. But if Elias can hold this distraction for Sat Brannigan, and as I, of course, say that, he pops out and gets killed. But Lego, you're right, could just dash up in there and grab the cap. But for now, Lego's all by himself, stuck in the backyard.
I think
we'll see how this plays out for him.
I think he was avoiding Prey spotting him there by just staying really close to those shrubs and to the wall there. So Prey just not able to ID Lego on those quick peeks. I do wonder if Lego's made a little bit of a noise here. Yeah, something's happened. Flash is coming in.
Now he's just blind shooting. And here comes Prey around the corner, and Phantoms grab themselves another defensive round and go up 2-1.
Unfortunate positioning from him. You know, you look at the replay and the flash comes in. He does good to suppress through the door, but then his gun actually pushes through the door, and it's information for the Phantoms defense to process there. And a nice swing to get that kill and wrap it up for Phantoms on defense. But also, I mean, hey, Bravo 6 worked a 4v5 pretty well there.
I agree. And, you know, it was something I wanted to touch on a round or two ago, Nightfire. But, you know, the MMR placement matches, they're not aimed to necessarily shoot you to the bottom of the barrel teams right away. Yeah. It's meant to give you a mix of, you know, low, mid, and high tier teams so we can properly place you after those matches are done. Yep. You know, the more points you score against, you know, a team like Phantoms who's higher in the ranks in your division is going to net you a better MMR right out of the gate after your placement matches. Or if they can manage to win this match against Phantoms, that really helps them out. And to be honest, from what I'm seeing so far, I feel like the Phantoms level is appropriate for Bravo 6. But we'll have to see how that plays out on other maps, of course.
Yeah.
But for now, yeah, I completely agree. I think they're holding up well, and I think, you know, just the fact that they're able to just keep this scoreline tight has been great to watch.
We're talking early game here. It's only 3 rounds in the books, of course. But, yeah, you know, it's certainly exciting. You know, the end scoreline could be 12-1. You know, like, who knows? That could have been the only round that Bravo 6 secure. But we don't know. And that's the beauty. That's why I love tuning in. That's why I love watching the VRML. Because there's also, it's always a fun match to drop by and watch. And, again, a shout out to everyone that's been tuning in across all the platforms, especially over on Oculus venues. We do appreciate you all. Let's get right into round number 4.
Yeah, we got another round here. Center house objective. So Phantoms could use some aggression here and drive it straight up the middle, see if they can't beat the defenders into the house. But it doesn't look like that's what they're going to do. They're actually focusing on some earlier pre-fire lanes, but from the offensive side rather than a defensive approach. So interesting play there. Argentino completely emptying out that first drum mag, and now things fall quiet as we cross the 430 mark.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with the general sort of gameplay of Onward, a lot of these bushes and wooden walls, again, can be penetrated, and so what Argentino was doing there was just shooting through the walls, hoping he could get some kills. He doesn't have any sort of aimbot or any sort of wall hacks that he can see the enemy through the walls, but he certainly does have an idea, you know, of how teams like to move, how teams like to push. And again, that's just the experience presenting itself from these Phantoms players. They know how teams like to rotate. They know the timing of when a player can get to where, and you just pre-fire that. Ooh, Lego finds a nice shot underneath the Hummy. Quickly killed by Taquito Loco.
Indeed. And Taquito Loco on a tear now. He's grabbed Kiri from his position. In my limited Spanish that I understand, I definitely understood that one, Nightfire.
Not family friendly there, I can tell you that. Explicit coming in from Taquito Loco. But either way, it is maybe warranted because Phantoms are just rolling over this Bravo 6 defense right now, finding all sorts of kills. Turtle and Ike, the only two left alive, and they are pretty tucked in, so not bad positions. Is Turtle ready for this? No, he's got a nade in hand. Argentino does get the trade. Turtle is resable, but that res isn't coming in. Kiri able to call out, and a nice kill from Ike there. Things are starting to even up for the likes of Bravo 6. It's a 2v1.
Well, definitely did not see this when just a few moments ago that Phantom's push was looking so coordinated, but there it is. Prey grabbing Ike out of the middle house, and that's going to be all. Phantoms will grab another point and the lead of 3-1 here on map 1. They're definitely starting to get into the flow of things, it seems like, Nightfire.
Yeah, and if you're Bravo 6, you just got to sort of take a quick breather here because, again, you've been doing well. To bring it down to a 1v2 is solid. You know, it's really comes down to not panicking in those moments where the team brings out their play. You know, because if an inexperienced team, when you see smokes and all sorts of shots are coming at you and multiple people are pushing from multiple angles, you kind of think, oh, I got to abandon this. I'm not covering just this angle anymore. I'm going to go do something over here. I'm going to go find these shots, you know. But it's just to actually stay disciplined like they did and hold their positions in the second floor and in that corner to get the 2 kills that they did to bring it back into the 1v2 is very good. You know, it's good play because, again, inexperienced players start to kind of panic in those scenarios and expose themselves on rotations.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that patience, I think both sides have really been demonstrating that patience quite well. I mean, we saw Lego in the first round there tucked into that tractor trailer, and he let Sat Brannigan run right by him. He didn't go aggressive. He heard Sat Brannigan shoot one of his teammates. He knew he was there, but he waited, and he waited, and he didn't move a muscle. I mean, his laser line on my spectator screen was just dead on, didn't move, didn't quiver. He waited, and he managed to get the kill. It was safer that way, better for the entirety of his team. He was able to keep himself up. So yeah, I think patience has been a good factor on both sides, but I think, yeah, I mean, as we would have called, a bit more experience within the league and within how these matchups go and those pacing. That's, you know, this is to be a bit expected, but this match is far from over. It's round 5. I can do maths of map 1, and we're getting into it now as the spawn box opens up, and Phantoms still with those heavy pre-fires, this time on the defensive side. They're going to take dominance in that center house.
Pre-fire is king in this melee without smokes, and especially on Suburbia, it's been pretty dominant because you can really catch people out of their spawns. Luckily, Bravo 6 doesn't fall victim to that. I think, you know, again, an impressive move, honestly, from them to be aware of that pre-fire and of the vulnerability of it and to not put themselves into the position to get shot from that pre-fire. So we're still here.
Yeah,
pre-fire is unsuccessful, you know?
Yeah, and that's not something you would expect a newer team to know, right? Like, I mean, we just watched the team fail to recognize a dropped player and not be able to hit the round reset in time. But they are, you know, they do have the knowledge enough to know not to be in those early pre-fire lanes. So it's really impressive to see. Again, this is only their second official league match as far as in a regular season game, and they're doing quite well. The knowledge that they're showing in this game has been quite impressive for a newer team.
As we have a bit of a pause in the action, we can take a quick gander at the KDs coming in here for the day. Lego for days has gotten himself a few kills, 6 and 3. And Sat Brannigan, 5 and 2. Loco Ai, 6 and 2. Phantom squad certainly doing well to find those picks, and we'll see if they can continue to as round 5 continues to develop. 3:30 on the clock, and Bravo 6 are really taking this one slow. Backs against the wall. You know, if you lose this round, you lose the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm in a way overhead pan here, but I'm really liking this because you can just kind of see how the Bravo 6 team is moving up here from lane 4 towards the middle, but they're just covering all these different sectors. You've seen a lot of cross-watching. There is some improvement that could be made to it, of course, but, you know, they're really good about covering themselves from these various angles, and I don't know that it's going to help so much in this entrenched defense in the center house. They're really going to have to figure out a way to get the picks out of there. But otherwise, looking like a good offensive push so far.
This Prey quick peek on the corner position been effective for him so far. Flash comes out, doesn't push the flash, interestingly enough. Turtle also did dodge it, so a smart move from him. Turtle has to be careful, though, because if he dips back too far, Alvarez could peek up and find an angle, and he is wary of this. He's dropped in behind the Heskos. He knows, again, positioning. It's very savvy of him to be aware. Is he going to be aware, though, if Alvarez picks up? No, can't get the headshot out. That Brannigan finds one as well, and so suddenly Bravo 6 down to 3.
Wow, and just like that, Phantoms turn the on switch on there again. And they're right back in this thing with a 5v3 advantage now and make that a 5v2 as Sat Brannigan grabs another one in Elias, leaving Bravo 6 down to just only Ike. Well, yeah, it's only Ike and Lego, pretty much. That's all it is. Just the two of them. Ike can shoot him if he tries. He gets a nice headshot on Sat Brannigan. Anyways, yes, Ike grabs a nice pick onto Sat Brannigan with that headshot. Now he and Lego will have to try and clear this house, which surprisingly enough, Nightfire, no one from Phantoms is getting aggressive out of that house. They must be a little short on their kill count.
Yeah, not sure. Or they just want to hold that house, right? Because the objective has changed over to that garage room. You know, it's no longer in the center house. So
yeah,
interesting to see that they aren't necessarily over on that side of the objective, but they hear everything. Lego for Day is getting called out here. A flash comes in onto Prey. It's a nice flash for Lego. He charges in on somehow Prey dodged the flash and finds the kill. Maybe he just managed to tuck around the corner or something. Gonna come down now to Ike.
Yeah, it was Oscar with the clean angle through the window by Sandbags in lane 2. That was able to get that pick there. Only Ike grabbing another onto Taquito Loco. Now the backside defense is completely gone. You can see Oscar in a motion to run to defense, but he's not going to cross the street. He's out, he's exposed, but it looks like Ike missed him. Oscar sees Ike, however, and there's the shots. Phantoms going to take the round. They take map 1 as well with that in a 4-1 fashion. Phantoms looking very solid so far here in the series, but Bravo 6, no slouches either. Nightfire, what's your thoughts after that first map? Who do you think this series really might go to, or can you tell us?
Well, a little bit up in the air, you know. If you're unfamiliar with the format of how things work, in Onward and in the VRML, we allow 2 bans, and then the home team gets to either pick the side or pick the map. In this case, Phantoms chose the side, and Bravo 6 picked this map. Now we go to map number 2, and Bravo 6 gets to pick the map. And so I'm curious if, again, you know, their second map pick maybe, or they get to pick side. Bravo 6 can pick side here too. So I'm curious to see what we get from whom. We'll be able to tell by who's on what side in terms of in what map we're in. At least we can get an idea from it. But yeah, I mean, map pool is a bit limited too. Something to touch on if you are familiar with the game. There's tons of maps, but for the competitive scene, we've had to ban a few of them from play, and so ultimately temporarily, yes. Ultimately, the maps that you can choose from, I think there's like 5 or 6 when it comes down to after you, or maybe only 4 after you ban 2 maps. So it's a very limited pool, but still some great maps on there. And it looks like for map 2, we are going to be going to Downfall. So this could be interesting. You know, I don't know. I feel like Downfall, in my mind, is going to be favoring the veteran teams just because they've had more time to get familiar with the gun mechanics and with sniping. Downfall is a very big sniper-heavy map. You know, it's a very long range, wide open, and so if you have 1 or 2 good snipers, it can effectively change the entirety of how you defend and push on this map. So it's going to come down to who's got a better long-range shooter, is my opinion, really. again, things are different now because there's no smokes, especially in this map. You can't deny vision, and so it really comes down to just sort of risking it, and honestly, a lot of stealth tactics as well. So, I don't know really what we're going to see here from either one of these teams.
Well, hopefully we see a good use of suppressive fire like we talked about in Map 1, because like you said in Map 1, it's not something that a lot of teams have quite adapted to or have quite adapted into their meta per se, but it's also something that I found didn't happen enough in general in Onward. Like, suppressive fire is a real thing. Like, I mean, military units around the world use suppressive fire in order to be able to do movements on the field of fire.
Sure.
So it baffled my mind the lack of the suppressive fire that we would see in Onward prior to the temporary removal of smokes from the league. And now I think teams are finally starting to understand, like, oh wow, yeah, like I don't necessarily need to have those smokes on me. I can just throw a couple extra rounds down. And then, we're starting to see more use of the LMGs, which weren't as popular before. Of course, you did have your LMG users, myself included, Noman, Captain Soda, other members of the community who rock the LMG, whether the M249s or the Saws or whatever.
Yeah, it's awesome because you have essentially like a training season. You know what I mean? Like, these teams are developing new strategies. They're finding out, oh look, I don't need to smoke this angle. I can just cross here, and because I move fast enough, most times players can't hit me. Like they're finding out things that maybe they wouldn't have explored otherwise. And so I'm really interested to see, weeks down the road when smokes are back, hopefully, that what kind of strats develop, because you're going to have players that have made these new strats that work really well with just flashbangs and nades. And so it's an exciting time to be watching Onward. And speaking of watching Onward, we got ourselves round number 1 of Map 2 underway here on Downfall.
That's right, and it looks like Bravo 6 will once again be on Marsoc for round number 1 as they charge up the hill here on the north side, or the eastern side of the map.
So that would mean, if we can infer, that they have chosen this map, because oftentimes the preference for teams is to pick into Volk because you can defend right away, and Taquito Loco, continuing to be a dominant force for this Phantom squad, pushes forward out the gate and scoops up one through the window.
Yeah, I wouldn't really advise engaging in a firefight out in the open like we just saw there from Turtle, but things happen. You get caught out sometimes. Elias was also taking fire from the Center Hotel area, so he's going to have to be careful as well. So pretty sure Phantoms are well aware of the spawn at this point. Kiri has managed to push himself a bit north, but I think Sat Brannigan, well, no, Sat Brannigan's attention's still focused there in the southeast at the moment.
Otro menos.
And there it is, Elias getting picked. Just as I mentioned, Kiri trying to rush up on Sat Brannigan. He's going to get grabbed too, and now Bravo 6 already down to the remaining 2 members with about 4 minutes left on the clock. Lego for Days way up on the hillside.
Talk about that sniper being a effective tool here, and he's gotten up into a very nice long-range position. He's got himself a 4 times on that rifle, and so he can, he has the distance here. He can snipe people, but it really comes down to if Phantoms are going to expose themselves to being sniped. If they're going to be, if they just tuck themselves in and wait for the push, or what the situation is. It's going to take time, and Lego is so far away from any sort of objective or his team, so again, it's going to be interesting to see. And now I'm seeing both of these guys have 4 times on it, so both of them looking for range, and now they're forced to push in on objective.
Well, the 4X is still very, very usable in a mid-close range environment.
Sure.
I can't tell, but I mean, one of these guys might even have a canted sight on there just to, cock that thing a little bit to the right or left and have a CQC sight. But I found that, especially since the more recent update with the Quest and everything, where we got the better scopes, El Argentino going to grab Ike before he gets to use his. But anyways, I found back when the Quest update and the 1.8 update came out, I found that scopes, especially the 2, 4, 12X scopes, are all way more usable now. And I'm rocking the 4X on almost every one of my classes at this point, because it still allows me to be able to shoot with both eyes open, so I can still acquire targets close range and sight and target acquire with the 4X. And there it is from long range. Lego gets grabbed off the hillside by Prey, and Phantoms grab themselves a pretty easy defensive win for round 1.
Yeah, again, we're seeing the experience shine on this one in particular because Phantoms, are using that aggressive push early to get themselves forward, definitely catching out Bravo 6 there. And, again, I think Phantoms are starting to read into this. They're starting to see that they are able to get a little crazy with it. They're able to get a little wild out of sort of the standard meta kill box formations and push up like they are, because it's working out for them, at least in this first round.
Yeah, it sure is. It makes you wonder if they went with an aggressive side, if that wouldn't be something that would either throw off the Phantoms or just something that Phantoms aren't more prepared for, because I feel like, we see this quite often developing in the teams from the EU. The pushes and the attacks are typically a bit slower, and not as a detriment, but just because they're also typically more coordinated. They're more in sync with one another. They're waiting, they might have someone who gets to their position in 10 seconds, but they will literally sit there. I've watched Smoils from the beginners sit in a position for like a minute and a half, completely silent other than short, quiet radio calls, letting his team know that he's in position and is ready. And then he does nothing and waits for his teammates to get in position around the map before they finally go in. And so you wonder if maybe some of that aggression thrown in the mix might throw them off foot, get a couple more points back on the board, to just completely screw them up. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. Again, Bravo 6 have been on the cusp of having good rounds. They snagged that one off of them on Suburbia and almost had two. They brought it down to a couple of close sets there, and so really going to come down to if Bravo 6 can do that here on Downfall. And I'm very interested to see what sort of strats they throw out on defense as we hop into round number 2 of map 2.
Well, my hope for them as a newer team would be that they play their defensive rounds tight, right? Like, you'd want them to be able to get those points on the board, get that experience in, and defend that objective.
Information gathered. Lego for Dave's got some shots from the 2-story there and calls out Marsoc spawn. So pretty important bit of information there. And if you're unfamiliar with how Onward works, there's a few random spawn points per objective for Marsoc. Obviously, Volks spawn on the objective every time, but the attacking team has a couple of random spawn points they could come from, and so Lego, being shot from there, knows that the only possible place that they, the only way they could have gotten there that fast with that kind of timing is that they spawned over there. And so you can kind of then, in the back of your mind, shape how an offense is going to push. Maybe it's going to be a 3-2. Maybe they're going to be coming in heavily from the south, but it's information either way for Bravo 6 to work with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Phantoms don't seem very shaken by the fact that their spawn might be exposed. They're spreading out across the map quite nice. I feel like we're about to see kind of what we saw in that cap attempt from Taquito Loco, where they surround the objective and try and cut off the defense and close in. We see it with a lot of other teams as well, but yeah, they're definitely taking their time. They're not trying to expose themselves too much. But to touch back on other things, if anyone out there is newer or isn't familiar with Onward, like Nightfire said, the players aren't seeing anything like you're seeing on their screens. All they see is the map in front of them and the players' bodies or the player models themselves. There's no HUD, there's no compass, there's no mini-map. All of that stuff is only on either your wristwatch or on your tablet on your back. So for them to be able to gain any sort of information, they have to communicate that, or they have to see it, visually confirm it, or verify it on their equipment. There is no HUDs, there is no cheats, there's no assistance whatsoever in this game.
Shots coming in from Prey, or downrange from this offense, and they're starting to sort of put the pressure on to that middle story. Yeah.
It's definitely drawn the attention. Taquito Loco's now managed to push his way up, but Lego for days gonna continue kind of carrying the kill count for Bravo 6 today. He's going to grab a pick onto Oscar Alvarez. But now Taquito Loco has a good positioning here inside this dumpster building. He can actually look towards Kiri and the center hotel. But he won't need the center hotel look as much as Argentino finds Lego for days in that upper story. Taquito Loco looking pretty free and clear, with the exception of Turtle taking a peek out of that front door every now and then.
Have to shift our focus over to the north as well, as Sat and Prey have worked themselves up a little bit here. And maybe actually putting the pressure onto that objective building soon enough as they dip down into Crater. And Prey does this maneuver here to avoid any sight from the 3-story there. And kind of dodge anyone that's positioned in there, and effectively dodging Turtle. Also somehow working around Elias, who's not going to be able to spot this rotation until maybe too late.
Yeah. Speaking of too late, it's too late for him to spot anything now, but thankfully that will alert the defense to their position on this side. Ike now looking in this direction. He's going to miss Sat Brannigan on the cross. Now Sat Brannigan's up very close. He's going to be going tab out here any moment. He's inside. Tablet is... Yep, he's coming out. He's just called to his team for the cap. He's got Tablet out. He's typing in the code. This should be 2 points for the Phantoms. Ike and no one from the defense is rotating in. They don't have any idea what's going on. And Sat Brannigan's trying. He's still trying to get that code in, and there it is. 2 points. The cap is on, and he is excited. He runs out to show Ike that he ain't scared.
Phantoms. Definitely, I mean, you know, that's... Sometimes you'll post up inside the objective building just to avoid that potential situation, you know, because if you lose that control, you're done. You know, you don't have the option to rotate. You're crossing streets, you're going to get shot. There's just, your options are so limited if you lose that objective building. And so oftentimes, I've seen two defenders stacked up inside there before, really heavily invested in making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more difficult, if not the most difficult one to either defend or to cap in most cases. But Phantoms really showing their name. They become ghosts, and Sat Brannigan in and out, getting that cap and getting 2 points for Phantoms there. A great job. But yeah, I mean, it's just another learning point for Bravo 6, right? I mean, again, this is a brand new team to the league. They're still in their placement matches, but they're doing well, in my opinion. Yes, the score line is spreading out further and further, and Phantoms are putting up unanswered points at this point. But Bravo 6 has a lot to still learn ahead of them. Like, they have so many more games to play, you know, so many more seasons, and I expect them to really start picking up steam very, very soon based on the gameplay that I'm seeing here. A few small things to work on: defensive rotations, checking your tablet, that sort of stuff, just drilling that into your head. I mean, and they're going to be a completely different team, and I think they'll have a lot of potential.
Yeah, and I mean, really a good sort of return to venues here. We're showcasing, you know, the newer team, a new squad entering in here. You get to see sort of what, how there is a bit of a skill separation amongst teams that have been veteran players, that have been putting in time versus new players. To that note, again, if you're a new player and you want to get in the league, it's easy to. You're not going to be subject to getting punished every game. You know, it's the system has an algorithm that puts you in up against teams that are of similar skill level. What you're seeing here again is Bravo 6 going through that algorithm. They are still being placed, and again, for performing as well as they are right now, we're going to have to watch this squad once they get their MMR set. And are going to watch them go up against other teams of similar rank, because I think they're really going to give those teams a run for their money. You learn, you develop, you adjust from losses, and out the gate, Phantoms finding a pick here on Sat, from Sat as they try to cross.
I mean, just look at the aggression from Taquito Loco here. He's all the way pushed up. He's almost to their spawn. I'm pretty sure he sees Ike here on the corner. Yep, there it is. Nice headshot onto Ike, and that's one less Bravo 6 member to worry about for Phantoms. They're getting real aggressive. They're trying to shut down this series right here with this next round, Nightfire. I don't see them stopping anytime soon, but it does look like Kiri has got eyes in this direction. He's looking for something.
Yeah, Phantoms are definitely flexing here. You know, they're looking to round this one out 4-0 and really I mean, Hey, it matters for Phantoms too. You know, we haven't talked about it, but there is a good amount of prizing on the line of this season. You know, $1,500 in cash. Oh, nice kill there from Taquito Loco. But $1,500 in cash alongside, I think, over $3,500 in prizing. You know, there's a lot to compete for here, and so this Phantoms team, they want every bit of MR they can get. They want to make sure that they get the maximum amount of points and limit Bravo 6 as much as they can. And so far they're trying to keep them.
Phantoms are trying to bring him in on the lower side of the scoreboard so they don't have to play him again for a while, because I think Phantoms got a little bit of a wake-up call there in Suburbia as they started to punch back a bit. And while they're definitely, you know, they still got some ways to go, as we've mentioned, they are putting up a good fight here. Kiri finding some shots there. He has wounded Taquito, so that's going to be a syringe gone for him. And now it's a back and forth as they try and trade the shots. Taquito tries to find his headshot, but he's not getting it.
Just barely missing. An interesting nade toss. That he would have to throw that nade through the window.
I'm pinned down north hotel.
Actually, now that nade would have been good because Taquito is rotating out. Oh, does he spot him? I think Kiri catches out the rotation, and Taquito, getting a bit too gutsy, goes down, and Bravo 6 even the odds a bit. Phantoms still have 3 alive to the 2 of Bravo 6.
Yeah, the other thing that this whole push has done is completely delayed Bravo 6. I mean, look at this. They're on the entirely opposite side of the map. They have 2 minutes to go, and they're going to have to be careful with how they move, because Phantoms at this point have had all the time in the world to set up their defense. But luckily, Bravo 6 has been able to grab a couple of those off, so it is a 3v2. And if they manage to get this res, which has unfortunately just recently bled out, they would have had a better advantage. But a 2v3 is not impossible, and Downfall is definitely one of the maps where we've seen some big swings happen in the last few seconds. So not counting out Bravo 6 just yet.
Absolutely. Kiri taking up one of the newer positions inside this, I don't know, 3-story tower.
Folk Tower.
Yeah, 1.8 introducing the ability to climb up here and peek out, and I haven't seen it utilized, honestly, a whole lot. I wonder if maybe teams feel they're too exposed when they check it, but it gives you a great vision on a couple of different angles, and so fun to see, again, adjustments like this on the map and how teams adapt to it. Here we could potentially find a very long-range shot down into that south ravine if he's looking for it, but I don't see his laser checking that.
Yeah, it's unclear, actually, where he was really looking. It looked like he was maybe looking more towards the actual objective than to any of the surrounding buildings, so we'll have to see what happens. But we also have Lego pushed here at North Bungalow. He's now making his way towards the supply truck, and he hears the shots from Prey in the North Darkroom. He's taking a peek, but not quite sure he's going to be able to see Prey. Prey's going to see Lego, though, and there's the shots out. He grabs the pick on Lego, and now it's a 1v3, 20 seconds left on the clock for Kiri. It's not looking good for him. He's going to probably time out here as he runs towards Ice Cream Truck Building.
Yeah, we haven't had it happen yet this series, but there is a time limit to each round, and it's definitely coming up here up against the likes of Kiri. He's going to run out of time to attack that objective, and that's going to be a round win to Phantoms and a series win. If you are tuning in here, though, it doesn't mean that we're done. The way that we like to do things here at the VRML is we always play out our third map because it helps determine MMR rating. And again, when we talk about that MMR rating, it helps determine what teams you go up against every week. Each week you are matched up against the team. It is your team captain's responsibility to schedule the match for that week. You put it on the site, you play it, and then if you win, you go up in matchmaking rating. If you lose, you go down. And it's all the round points gets factored into it. So when it comes down to it, Phantoms really want here to secure another final map and more points so that when they get this boost of matchmaking rating, it's more than what it would be if they were to lose the third map. In the same sense, Bravo 6 definitely don't want to just roll over here since they've lost the series. They want to snag this third map because it is going to help place them better in their next matchup, and if you want to be ranked high, you got to win, and so you got to get a map here.
Yeah, and that's a common mistake we do see with the newer teams, Nightfire, right? It's like a lot of times they forget, like map 3, the series might be over, but we still can do something for our team here. We can still stop the bleeding, if you will. We can put a Band-Aid on it. We can, we can help supplement that and keep it from being such a big loss.
Right.
But we do see a lot of times newer teams especially get demoralized, especially when they lose a map or a series pretty heavily, at least in terms of points, because we talk about it here all the time. Points don't necessarily really show how good each individual round had been to lead up to that scoreline. But in this case, Phantoms have been kind of giving Bravo 6 the business here, especially there on the downfall. And we just got to hope that Bravo 6 takes it on the chin and they come out here in map 3 with the good spirit.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we're, I guess, in the beginning of the end of Season 10, but, I think there's 4 or 5 weeks left of regular season, and then we get into the finals, and so there's not a lot of time left necessarily for a veteran team to get wins and losses, and so every match played counts right now, and so it's important, again, for this Phantoms team to come out and play well. And, for Bravo 6, really what they're doing this season is just getting their feet wet, right? They're getting introduced to the league. They're starting figuring out what the MMR, they're getting their matchmaking rating, which is then softly reset going into Season 11. And, it's their introduction into the league. They're just getting their toes, wet in this division. I don't anticipate Bravo 6 being a team that we see going up against beginners in 5 weeks' time. But, I'm very excited to see how these newer teams develop, because they've been bringing new strategies to the playing field. Strategies that I've seen veteran teams not ready for. And so, it is still certainly fun to tune into. And our final map is going to be Bazaar.
Yes. Yeah, good map. Great little bit of everything here. You've got the long-range engagements down the streets and down the long corridors and alleys. You've got the mid-range stuff between blocks. You've got short-range engagements inside the buildings and the mid-building alleyways and things. So really one of the better maps. It's got a lot of good, not really lane focus per se, but I'd call it like a grid focus, because there are laned routes through the map, but there are also kind of sub-lanes and sub-sub-lanes and sub-lanes, and you get my drift.
Fair.
Anyway, so yeah, Bazaar definitely on the top of my map list in sort of the tier list, if you will. But yeah, I'm excited to see maybe Bravo 6. Maybe this is their map. Maybe this is the kind of map they like. Maybe they like this urban environment versus the more open maps. They did put up a better fight against Phantoms in Suburbia, which is again more of an urban CQC closer range fight. So we'll see. Maybe they do bring it better on Bazaar. Bring it better on Bazaar. Try and say that 6 times fast.
We are waiting for a 5th from Phantoms to join the lobby. I wonder if we're going to see a substitute here. One of the things that we allow is an 8-man roster, 8-person roster for each team. Some teams don't do that. Some teams have only 5, only 6 maybe. But the reason being is so that you can have a substitute, because we are an hour and a half or an hour into this series, and these series can get long. If this was a back and forth, you could have been playing for a long time, really sweating it out. And it's valuable to be able to bring in a sub that's fresh, that has that high energy, and can charge your team back up. In addition, if you've already won the series like Phantoms have, it's a good time to sort of bring in the sub and get them trained up, get them practiced in a live scenario.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the perfect scenario for newer teams going on in the VRML this season, right? We had the bit of a league hiatus where we didn't really have everything going on as Downpour worked through their quest release stuff, and then we started up the hiatus tournament so that the teams could play and could compete against one another again. And so there's been a lot of time where the teams could really sit there, and of course everyone's at home anyway, so everyone's got the time to put in and dedicate to their team. It's been good to see, and so I think we're going to start to see more of the newer teams coming into Season 10 and maybe even Season 11 there, really showing out in those first few weeks and really blowing the minds of some of the, especially the older casters who are a little less familiar with these guys and might not have been in some of the more recent comp and pub lobbies.
Yep. We are getting a sub coming in here from Phantoms, so you know, again, the smart thing to do. You know, you don't need. It isn't a must-win map. Yes, you want to, you know, so you're only subbing one player to keep the rest of the teams that's been fresh and been winning in. But you know, it's also now is the time to get that live practice in, because the pressure of losing the series is off your shoulders as a squad, and good time to sort of train everyone. So the sub is coming in here for Phantoms. We do have all 5 on both sides in lobby, and we're just waiting for them to ready up, and we'll be diving into the action. We're going to cut to a very... I don't even know if we have to, really. I don't think we will. We're not going to. We were going to cut to an intermission, but they want to play. So we're going to dive...
We're ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to dive right into round number 1 of map 3 and see what we get from Bravo 6 as they go on the offense against Phantoms.
Yeah, it's interesting that Bravo 6 so willing to take this Marsoc side every map so far in this series. But here we go. Final map, spawn box is up and Bravo 6 is out. It's on. Will they bring the aggression here on Bazaar? One will only know. Ike gonna lead the charge here on the center street, followed up by Turtle. It does look like they are gonna try and get aggressive. You see Nuclear looking a little aggressive there himself, but he does pull back in the end. Nice little bit of aggression to grab some real estate out the gate from Bravo 6 as we crawl past the 30-second mark.
Yeah, I have control of middle Bazaar. Got nice control of that north Kayat. And you know, hey, it's honestly risky to be taking Kayat these days, because we've seen defenders just quickly push right up to Kayat building, and you can have full control now of this building. You're not secluded to one half of it. One of the major changes in 1.8 is just cutting out. They just knocked down a wall to open up the ability for the player to cross across the entirety of the second floor, and it's changed strategies significantly. It's what I love so much about this game. You make one tiny adjustment to something, and suddenly everyone's strategies change.
Things slowing up here now as the Bravo 6 team gets close up to the Phantom squad, pulling their fairly solid close-in defense, not really getting too far off that objective as we saw with the Bravo 6 there at the end of Downfall. You got to make sure that you are at least within a rotatable range back to that objective. If you find out you're the last person up and you get that feeling in the back of your neck like someone's on that objective and capping, you need to know that you can get to that objective and put rounds down range fast enough from where you're at pretty much all times as a defender, unless you are your team's like designated, you know, breacher or you're out for an aggressive push there. But first off, Turtle gonna find 1 and 2 as he grabs Nuclear as well on the mid side, and they're ready to knock down the door of the actual objective. Sat Brannigan actually not reacting on the North Street. It's just Bravo 6 for days over here on this side. Bravo 6 Turtle coming across now. He's got nothing but objective. Did they not hear those first shots?
Something's going on. Prey's checked his tablet. He knows. Prey knows. He's checking angles now, but he's not checking hard enough. Turtle's pad out here on corner. Prey does finally get that peek and gets the kill. Very important pickup, but on the rotation to cover other angles, gets scooped up. And again, we talk about Sat not reacting accordingly. He's really the weak link in this chain here, because if he doesn't react, this is going to be an easy cap for Lego for days. Nobody's rotating in Legos here in the corner, punching in code. Bravo 6 looking to push this up 2-0. Drops the pad, get the kill.
On the objective, Lego's clear. Sat Brannigan now checking his tablet, but he is a little too far away. It depends on the capping speed here, but it looks like no, Bravo 6 will grab the cap and the 2 points in this first round of map 3, Nightfire.
I think they punched the code in as that kill came through, because I saw the kill feed and the round 2 win come up at the same time, and somehow, geez, wow, that was
pretty crazy.
Yeah, quite a while.
What happened there, though? Like, that was like, it was like Phantoms were deaf.
Yeah, you know, don't know. A lot of this game, if you're not familiar, is very audio focused. You know, you can hear open mics, you can hear comms, you can hear players talking, breathing, you can hear them moving, you can hear the gunfire. Veteran teams, like the likes of Phantoms, know what certain guns sound like. They know that a Volk gun is shooting versus a Marsoc gun, and they can react accordingly. Sat Brannigan did none of that. You know, all sorts of gunfire going on over there, all sorts of shots getting killed, and I don't know if he even ever checked his tablet, really, because...
Not until that last kill, I don't think, no.
Well, yeah. Hey, good on Bravo 6, though. A very solid push. And you want to talk about minimizing damage to your MMR and putting out a good show on the final map. That's a good way to start it off. 2-0 for them as we go into round 2.
Sure is. And honestly, that last group of cappers that went in for Bravo 6, you'll excuse me, that was pretty fast. You know what I mean? Like, for a new team, those cappers were quick.
Yeah.
So
well,
be careful. Phantoms better not let Bravo 6 back on that objective again, because this could be another map.
One of them was quick. Prey was pretty slow and ended up getting killed for it, but...
Well, yeah.
Either way, yeah, very good start for them. You gotta wonder, though, if you're Phantoms, you're looking to answer back in kind, and you've been able to really take it to the likes of Bravo 6 the last 2 maps, what's gonna really change, you know, going into this offensive round? I don't know. Are Phantoms gonna play it now even more aggressive? Is that gonna backfire? It's curious to see as we hop in to that offensive side, and they do start to sort of push up into Bazaar area.
A different split here coming from Phantoms, though. We're seeing a 1-3-1 split versus the kind of full northern focus that originated out of the Bravo 6 team. But it doesn't seem, you know, uncharacteristic of Phantoms. They seem to like to spread out and try and cover all the angles and approach from all sides. So there's definitely no wrong in that, but I do think that this cluster in the middle needs to just split up just a hair more. Oscar's good, but there we go. Nuclear and El Argentino now splitting off a bit. They're no longer just frag bait for a double kill.
Yeah, and again, without the smokes in play here, a lot of the... I mean, the only utility usage available is grenades or flashbangs, and so sticking together is even it's a more elevated risk than normal, because the odds of a frag coming at you are a lot higher than they would be if smokes were also in that utility pool. So, interesting thing. I mean, I guess again, if you don't familiar with Onward, there is a limit to how many items you can pick on your kit, and so you can only take so many grenades or so many pieces of ammo, and Phantoms are looking to answer back here right out the gate. 2 kills. They've opened up the south a bit. More shots coming in from Prey, almost landing, and a little pre-fire, a little bit of a refire also coming in, and Ike actually catches Prey. I don't know if Ike was intending for it. Sat Brannigan scoops up Kiri, keeping things in Phantom's favor. A 4v2 now.
Yeah, and this is where Bravo 6 struggled in downfall, and it could be their downfall here. Bravo 6 Turtle still not wanting to rotate. I'm sure it's because he feels he's not safe to rotate, and he could be right with Argentino there on that balcony just a moment ago, but he needs to try and get within sight of the objective, because Ike is the only one on it at the moment, and if he goes down, there's no one watching it, and Nuclear's right there.
Ike is calling out for him to come help. Turtle has rotated off, but this rotation is not an easy one to make, because Sat's right here on the north wall. Catches out Turtle, down he goes, and now Ike is the only one left alive. Gets one. That's a huge pickup. 1v3 now as they start to collapse onto objective. 2.5 on the clock. 2:10 on the clock, excuse.
Yeah, wow, impressive slide shot there from Ike as he was getting flashed, and he manages to actually put himself into a good spot here. The only problem is they can still cap from the other side of that little L-shaped wall right in front of him, so he needs to make sure he's seen him, and he grabs Sat Brannigan on the north side. Is Ike going to be able to clutch this? He grabs Oscar as well. Now all he needs to do is just pick up Argentino, and this is a one-man clutch for the 3-point lead. Oh my goodness, Ike is on fire.
Argentino might have ID'd him. I don't know. This is a risky rotation here. To come in through this building is incredibly risky. Argentino gonna just miss him on that rotation. He's checking all the spots for capping, making sure no one's punching in the code right now, and there's not anyone here. Argentino hasn't rotated in, and Ike gets that check free of charge, uncontested, doesn't go down for it. Still, though, the panic.
Yeah, and he's got a minute and 10 seconds left of that Panic Night Fire. He's got to continue doing this for at least 60 more seconds, and it is not a good feeling to be that last man on. But it is better for him to be running around like a frantic rabbit, checking all the different spots, making himself an easier target, because it's better for him to get shot and only lose the 1 point while making sure the objective is safe than to lose the 2 points to the cap. So, you know,
wow.
But he's not going to. Ike going to grab, I believe it was 4 on that round, and he will take the point for Bravo 6, putting him in a 3-0 lead here on map 3, and what an impressive play there from Ike.
I got to look at the active roster for Bravo 6, because if Ike ain't on there, pick him up. Put him on. He has been performing today. That was a heck of a save there from Ike. Just happening to cover the right angles at the right times. Just happening to check north right when it mattered. And that was a fun one to watch for sure. Very nicely done. The swings, very smart from him on objective. Just very savvy, aggressive plays there to snag the kills and save the round for Bravo 6. Now they go into this next one 3-0. Feels good.
Yeah, on defense, mind you. So they've got an even more of... No, they're going into it now. No,
they're
wait,
attacking.
No.
Yeah, because I clutched the defensive round.
Sorry about that,
I was
folks.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
My mind is still blown from Ike's performance there in that last round. I mean, he just turned and burned on 3, and then after a long wait, just grabs that last one for the clutch. So props to him. And yeah, like you said, if he's not on Bravo 6 yet, he sure as heck better be by tomorrow.
If he's not on that team, someone's going to pick this guy up, because that was a heck of a performance here. And nicely done to keep it in again for Bravo 6. We go into round number 3. Was there a cap? I can't remember.
Yes, there was a cap. It's round 3, Nightfire.
Okay, good. Round 3. Bravo 6 looking to secure themselves one of these maps and help lighten that MMR blow that they're going to receive for the loss.
So far, so good here on this open cross, but maybe not as Argentino rotates around to take a peek right at the right moment. And this that cross in particular is definitely not an easy one to make without smoke. So I think Bravo 6 should have went ahead and exposed their spawn there and just lit it up with that suppressive fire. Now it's a 3v5 here, and Phantom's getting aggressive on the defense as Prey makes his way up.
Kiri just missing some shots there on to Prey. Gets the call out, though, so they know that someone's over in that market area, and he's going to keep checking. Does get that kill. Nicely done there from Kiri to prevent that flank from coming in. That would have really been it for Bravo 6 if that had come through, so a good hold from him. And honestly, they're still in this. The 3v4 and a really heavy rotation on the east from the 2 defenders does open it up a little bit for the offense.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, it is smart for Bravo 6 to probably go ahead and pull back off that western side, because obviously a lot of the defense is going to be waiting for them to hit that open street. But like you said, Sap Brannigan here in the east, he's pushed his way up. He's trying to get in behind him, so he's anticipating that eastern push. And he might find Ike here if Ike's not careful, but Ike seems to be able to sneak by without Sap Brannigan noticing.
Far enough away on that north side to avoid audio cues, and honestly, this could be an interesting bit of rotation for Ike, because he's going to wrap around this east defense, which is tucked themselves too far forward. They're so heavily focused on the west spawn that they have completely dropped their coverage of the east side here. And yeah, Ike is going to get a free cross down to the south, and Lego's now scooped up another one, so it's a 2v3, or 3v2, excuse me, in favor of Bravo 6. Objective's pretty open.
Yeah, objective building is open. Nuclear does have a good watch on the cross if they take the main street, but if they cross further down the west, he might have a harder time hitting that target. And if they get into this southwest block, there's almost no stopping them. But you can see Oscar Alvarez is definitely trying to get his way back to the objective. He realizes they are completely exposed at this point. But at this time, they actually kind of have a pretty good setup here.
They do.
Because Nuclear can watch the street and Oscar can watch the backside of the objective. I mean, this looks pretty good, but as I say that, things aren't working out some more as Nuclear goes down, and now the north side's exposed as well. Lego's looking inside, hoping to go, and there he is. He's off to the races. Here comes a flash.
What has happened to this
Oscar's
Phantoms
rotated
team?
in. He could get this pick. He does grab the pick onto Lego, stopping the caps. A good play there from him. Now he's on the rotation back to try and stop Kiri. Can he manage to find him? He sees the elbow, but Kiri going to manage to find the shots, and Bravo 6 going to clean up map number 3 with a 4-0 victory onto Phantoms.
You know, and this is really what we were kind of talking about the whole series, right? Bravo 6 has been playing well. They've been doing good. Phantoms have just been capitalizing on a few rookie mistakes and just some, mistakes that you're not necessarily prepared for if you're on a new team like the likes of Bravo 6.
And playing a man down. They were playing also with a reservist.
Yeah, they were. And to then, be able to bounce back from a series loss, answer on Bazaar, 4-0 of all things, such a great way to sort of retaliate, minimize the damage done. I mean, the overall scoreline's 8-5. We talked about their first game. They lost. It was a close one as well, wasn't it? It was 8-12 or something.
8-12, yeah.
3-4,
3-4, 3-4, 2-4 in that one.
A close series there as well. And so Bravo 6 just, they have some good stuff to take away here from this final series that they've managed to play. And fun to see him snag that final map. It really, again, gives hope to all those new players. Like, look, if you're a new team, you can practice, you can get good, you can play with some new guys to the league and make a squad that can compete. It's possible. It's doable. You just have to put the time in and put the practice in.
That's exactly it. I mean, you talk to the top teams on either side of the globe, and they'll tell you you don't get there without putting the time in.
Yeah.
And I can tell Bravo 6 has been putting the time in. You can tell Phantoms have really started to ratchet down on their time as well and dedication. Again, we said they've been kind of branching out into other esports in the VR realm as well as Echo Arena champs and other things. So, you just got to put in that time, like we said. And, of course, Bravo 6 do have a few things to still learn. They still make a few rookie mistakes here and there, but they're rookies.
Yeah.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're rookies. So, give them a break. Anyways, that was a great matchup, Nightfire. I don't think I could have asked for a better, not only EU, but also mixed bag match where we had a mid-high tier ranked team versus an unranked team.
I said it early and I got a little nervous as the scoreline started to unfold. I said this could end up just being 12-1. It was tied 1-1. I said this could just be a 12-1 scoreline ultimately. Phantoms that could be the only point Bravo 6 scores. And when we got to this third map, I was thinking oh geez, has my casting power caused this? I'm glad to see Bravo 6 snag that final map 4-0. It's very good to see, and a great matchup for venues again. And it leads us into shouting out to everyone that's been tuning in today across all of the platforms: Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Oculus venues. Really appreciate everyone that's tuning in and watching the games because we do it for you guys. We do it because we love the cast and we love the community, and we really appreciate everyone that tunes in. Yeah, no kidding. I love watching this stuff in particular. It's really good to see new teams in the league, and it's fun to see them play. It's fun to see them innovate. And again, going to have to keep an eye on the Bravo 6 team as we go forward. I think that's going to be it from us, so let's give a brief shout out to all of our sponsors: VR Cover, ProTube VR, Cyber Shoes, Fixed Gaming, Rebuff Reality, B Haptics. They all come together and offer prizes for our league that you are watching right here. As I mentioned earlier, upwards of $3,500 in prizing on top of an additional $1,500 in cash going into this league. So a lot to compete for if you want to get involved, a lot to practice for if you want to start to play at a high level. And I encourage anyone that's tuning in now to go download the game on your Quest, your PC, whatever device that you want to play it on, and get into Onward because it is by far my favorite game, and it's the favorites of quite a few people. So comes highly recommended.
Absolutely.
That's going to be it from us here on the desk. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Sleepy with 2 3's. We will see you all tomorrow for more VRML action, so be sure to tune in. Adios.
Good night, everyone.